The Garmin Approach S70 is a fantastic golf watch, but as I highlighted in my review earlier this year, it's an awful lot of money for a watch that isn't that great at being an everyday smartwatch. So for at least £150 or $200 less, the brand new Garmin Venu 3 is a better smartwatch than the S70 while still retaining many of the key features that make the Garmin Approach so desirable to golfers and non-golfers alike. Sadly, there is a catch. Garmin haven't completely lost their minds, deciding to give you an entirely better watch for significantly less money. I'm going to show you the key features missing from this watch that some golfers might not want to go without, and why for many, the Venu 3, despite having a name that sounds like a women's razor, could be the best golf watch that you can buy when it comes to the amount of tech that you're getting for the money that you're spending. But before all of that, you're probably going to want to know what it's actually like to wear and use. It comes in two different case sizes. First of all, you've got the 41mm, which is great for people with smaller wrists like me. And then you've also got the larger 45mm, which is actually the same price at £449 and strangely $449. So Team USA are getting a bit of a bargain on the old exchange rate there. Damn you, Liz Truss! The smaller watch does have a slightly smaller battery capacity, but as with many Garmins, the battery life is a real strong point here. Garmin claim up to 14 days in smartwatch mode. In my testing, with the display turned up to 50% brightness, but always on display turned off, I managed to get 13 days of constant use. And that includes several exercise sessions recorded on my Peloton, where it was broadcasting my heart rate to the bike, as well as wearing the watch every single night to track my sleep. Well, as much sleep as I get with a 10-month-old baby. I think that's a pretty impressive battery life from the Venu, and it knocks spots off of an Apple Watch, which will only last about 2 days maximum on the same settings. I charged the Venu 3 back up to 100% and used it for a weekend of golf. After 2 full days of use, as well as 2 rounds of golf, the battery was down to 50%. So you'll be able to easily take this away for a weekend golf trip and not have to worry about it running out of battery. The AMOLED touchscreen display is really crisp and bright, offering a good comparison to an Apple Watch. There is a setting to have an always on display if you want. Personally, I quite like to use the gesture mode to extend the battery life, and the touchscreen itself is nice and responsive too. The watch has 3 buttons on the side of it, which give you access to menus, showing you your most recently used apps. The buttons feel all right at best. They're quite shallow, so while they're unobtrusive, they do feel a little bit squishy for me. Those with bigger fingers looking for something with a more tactile feeling, the S70, the Epics, or the Garmin Fenix watches are all more aggressive in the button department. The Venu comes with a simple silicone strap. Overall, the watch feels kind of plasticky and very lightweight, but for a watch that you might be wearing all day and night, I think that's actually a good thing. The ceramic bezel and more aggressive styling on the S70 do give it a bolder look, but the Venu 3 is going for a more subdued look. The stainless steel bezel is pretty basic, allowing it to get on with its impressive smartwatch features in the background rather than demanding your attention. It's not the kind of watch you'd see Arnie or Stallone wearing. It doesn't mean that you can't make it stand out. There's plenty of dials to choose from and customize, allowing you to show off pretty much whatever metrics you want in whatever neon colour takes your fancy. For me, I quite like a more plain dial with some bold colours. In terms of golf features, the Venu 3 has more than the Garmin Approach S42, but less than the S70. Now, although I'm not that fussed that this watch isn't as fully loaded as the S70, you might be. So the key features which this watch are missing are a hole map with the ability to zoom in and get the yardages to any point on the hole, the Smart Caddy feature, which learns your game and suggests which clubs you should hit, and the detailed plays-like mode, which takes into account the wind, the slope, and even the humidity to give you the shot yardages. The larger version of the S70 also uses a multi-band GPS system to provide improved accuracy, especially under tree cover and things like that. Although, to be honest, I've never really noticed the difference out on the course compared to my single band GPS watches. If any of those features are a deal breaker for you, then the Venu 3 probably isn't going to be the watch for you, and it's time to start saving for the S70. But just because those features are missing, it doesn't mean that this watch is a dud out on the course. Far from it, in fact. I've really enjoyed my time with it. The layout is very similar to the S42, showing you the yardages to the front, middle and back of the green, as well as a rough shape of the green. The watch can automatically show you the distance of your last shot with a little drop down that appears at the top of the screen, and you can then select features through the menus and the settings. For example, you can get a list of all the hazards on the hull. However, this still uses Garmin's slightly annoying grid layout system found on the S42 and even on the S12. From the menu, you can also access the pinpointer mode, which is something that you get on the more expensive S70. When I've sprayed my tee shot onto the next fairway and I can't see where the green is, the pinpointer mode will give me a rough idea of the direction I need to aim for the green. Now I just need to learn how to hit the ball remotely where I'm aiming and we'll really be cooking. You can also turn on a setting in the Venu 3 to track the stats of your driver, irons, approach shots and putting, as well as the distance and accuracy for each one of your clubs. If you have CT10 tags, the Venu 3 can also be paired with those. As you'd expect, you can also record your score on the watch and then upload all of this data to the Garmin Golf app. If you pay for the additional subscription, you can get the green contour data on this watch too, so long as it's supported for your course. And don't forget, the screen on the Venu 3 looks infinitely better than the basic one found on the S42. And if you haven't done so already, you should hit like on this video if you're finding it helpful and consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks. So once you're finished on the course, why is this a better smartwatch off the course than the S70? Well, it has all the same features, including the annoying limited app notification settings if you're an iPhone user like me. Essentially, you have to choose either between getting all of your app notifications on the watch or none of them. So there's no way just to get your app notifications for WhatsApp messages, for example. But the watch does have two key additions compared to the S70. The first is that you can receive calls on the watch using the built-in microphone and speaker. And the second is that the watch integrates with your smartphone's voice assistant such as Siri and Google. Set a timer for 1 hour's time.
1 hour, starting now.
If you have an Android phone, you can also view photos. You also have Garmin Pay available on the Venu 3, and it still doesn't work with the majority of high street banks here in the UK, meaning you'll probably have to set up a new bank account if you want to use that feature to buy your weekly supply of tea, crumpets and Pro V1s. While we're talking about money, if you're looking for big savings, then I've included a link in the description below to my monthly newsletter where I highlight the biggest and best golf deals for both UK and US golfers. And if you decide to buy the Venu 3 or the S70, then I've included my affiliate links and any exclusive discounts down in the description below. Don't get me wrong, using an Apple Watch or Google Watch is going to be a better, more integrated experience, but the Garmin isn't a bad experience and it does have a better battery life and a more dedicated focus on health and activity tracking. The Venu 3 has a lot of the same activity features as the S70 and covers the bases for most. The list of activities you're able to track on the watch is pretty long, but if you're a keen trail runner, mountain biker or kayaker, then you'll need to stump up the extra cash for an S70, Epix or Phoenix. Although the Venu 3 does have tennis, open water swimming, disc golf and pickleball options, which the S70 doesn't. So that's a win for the pickleballers. Picklers? I don't know.
Pickle Rick!
And the same goes for health tracking features as well. The Venu 3 comes with an impressive list, including body battery, sleep coach, ECG app, blood O2 sensors, HRV status, stress tracking, women's health tracking, jet lag advisor, and more. It also has the ability to record gym workouts, provide programs, and even show you what the exercise should look like. But as I said for the S70, if you're already a gym goer, I doubt this option is much use to you. So if you like the idea of the Garmin S70, but don't like the price, the Venu 3 is worth considering. You're getting a lovely AMOLED screen, impressive battery life, the vast majority of the same health and activity tracking features, improved smartphone connectivity, and all for up to $200 less, so long as you're happy with the reduced golf features. And if you're still not sure which golf watch is the right one for you, then watch this video right here where I go through all of the positives and negatives of the Garmin S70 in greater detail, or watch this video right here where I go through all of the features and settings of the Venu 3.